Are you ready to homeschool with more ease, confidence, and joy? Today, I want to invite you to join Inspired at Home, the online membership for homeschooling parents seeking support, inspiration, and practical tools. And guess what? We're having a special this month for you to join for just $7 for your first month. We've never offered this before. Inside Inspired at Home, you'll find a library of masterclasses, printable resources, group coaching calls, and a vibrant community to help you create simple, inspiring, and doable homeschool lessons and a rhythm. Get step-by-step guidance, connect with other heart-centered parents like you, and discover creative ways to design joyful and memorable learning experiences for your kiddos. Say goodbye to overwhelm and hello to inspired homeschooling. Get the training, coaching, and community you need today for just $7 for your first month. After that, the price is only $37 a month, and there's no long-term commitment. You can cancel anytime. Learn more and join us at artofhomeschooling.com/inspired-at-home. Now, on to the episode. Happy listening. You're listening to the Art of Homeschooling podcast, where we help parents cultivate creativity and connection at home. I'm your host, Jean Miller, and here on this podcast, you'll find stories and inspiration to bring you the confidence you need to make homeschooling work for your family. Let's begin. What to even say? As I record this episode, fires have devastated huge parts of Los Angeles. My husband just received a very difficult diagnosis, and the day this episode comes out is Inauguration Day here in the United States. I'm holding so much compassion for all those who are suffering right now. I know many of you are feeling this too, especially the challenges of returning to a routine and homeschool rhythm while balancing the emotional weight of the world. This can really impact our ability to focus and maintain a rhythm. So today, I'm inviting you to find tiny moments of light in your life and imagine all the listeners here on the podcast doing the same. When there seem to be no words, I often turn to poetry. Here is one of my favorite poems, Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. This poem speaks to me so deeply and always leaves me feeling uplifted anytime I encounter it. First, I love birds, and I am so touched by the idea that hope is asking nothing of me, yet gives me so much. May this little poem offer you solace and inspiration for whatever you're feeling or experiencing today. I often find that when my own words seem lacking, I can turn to little snippets of others' words through their poetry and find comfort. Through close to 25 years of homeschooling 3 kiddos, I found that poetry is not only good for language arts lessons, but also as a tool for emotional resilience and connection. This is what poetry means to me, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to pass that along and share that with my children. To me, this is just one way of gathering the light during dark or difficult times. So here is my best advice. I've learned that when life gets hard, It helps to double up on self-care, not just physical, but emotional. To remember that rest is like resistance against the darkness and daily struggles. To feel our feelings and give them the space and attention they deserve so that we can allow them to move through us. Easier said than done, I know. So here's my question for you today. What do you do to replenish? Now, I have some ideas for you here. I've been starting my day with a very short guided meditation and taking lots of moments to pause throughout the day just to feel gratitude for whatever is right in front of me. The big fluffy snowflakes, our dog Gus with his head resting on my foot, sipping my hot chai tea in my favorite blue mug. How about you? Do you journal, meditate, or simply take a moment to pause now and then? If not, this is your reminder. This is your invitation to build more little moments like this into your day. I know that as homeschooling parents, we often feel guilty about taking time for ourselves. That's why I think it helps to start with tiny moments. These are the kinds of things we do together inside my Inspired at Home community every January. Because this time of year, after the hustle of the holidays, I find that as homeschoolers, we often need to take a moment to fill back up before diving back into the lessons with our kiddos. I love that the light outside is actually slowly returning here in the Northern Hemisphere. And each day is growing longer by just a few minutes. So that by the end of January, on Groundhog's Day or Candlemas or Imbolc, whatever you choose to call February 2nd, we'll be halfway to spring. This day is known as a cross-quarter day, a powerful turning point of the year, the halfway point between winter solstice and the spring equinox, which is why I like to encourage parents to gather your light during the month of January by renewing your own spark with your head, heart, and hands. In the Inspired at Home community, we focus on a masterclass called Gathering the Light each January. We walk through 5 steps to renewal for the new year. I created this community and this particular masterclass because I know that when life feels overwhelming, a supportive homeschooling community plays a critical role in helping us as parents to navigate challenges. Because let's be honest, homeschooling can feel a bit lonely at times. Today, I invite you to reflect on what gathering the light means to you, especially if life is feeling heavy right now or you're feeling a bit sluggish. Perhaps it's small joys, moments with your children or connecting with nature. As a homeschooling parent, perhaps you fill back up through stories or creating art. I go through this renewal process every year, step by step, myself, head, heart, hands, health, and home. Just taking a few days to focus and gather my resources, find balance, and reflect on these realms through meditation, art, poetry, and other nourishing practices. The themes of head, heart, hands, health, and home can together support a sense of harmony. And with these steps, we experience some guided self-care, kind of like a mini retreat for the new year. You might like to gather art supplies and self-care items before you begin, but I'm going to encourage you to create a little mini retreat for yourself. You could gather watercolor or drawing materials, magazines for collaging, your favorite tea, a candle, chocolate, essential oils, incense, anything that brings you pleasure and makes you smile. And then you might come up with just one nourishing activity for each of these areas. Here are just a few examples. For head, you might choose a word of the year. For the heart, find a poem to memorize and recite to yourself each morning. For the hands, perhaps you want to create a piece of art with your word of the year at the center. For health, what's one activity you could add to your day to help your body or mind feel fed? And for home, you could clear off and reset one little shelf, perhaps in your family room with a nature scene or just a spot for a candle. If you want to join me and other heart-centered homeschoolers from all over the world for Gathering the Light, we'd love to welcome you inside the Inspired at Home community. Simply visit artofhomeschooling.com/inspired at home for more details. Inside the masterclass, I have provided a motivational message and a journal page for each of the 5 themes: head, heart, hands, health, and home. And this year in 2025, we'll be having a week of group Voxer chats from January 27th to the 31st, where we'll be sharing inspiration and insights with each other. So whether you choose to join me and the sweet homeschooling community inside Inspired at Home or create a little mini retreat of your own, I want to encourage you to honor your own emotional state and then gently guide your children back into a homeschooling rhythm and lessons. You might think of these 5 themes and choose one little action, like I said, or practice that you could do to enliven that particular area of your life. Choose a few actionable intentions that can have a big impact on your mindset right now. Remember, homeschooling doesn't have to look perfect after the holidays. Sometimes gathering the light is about celebrating the small wins, looking for little tiny moments of light and inspiration. Start by lighting a candle and reading a poem or a story that inspires hope. No matter how heavy things may feel, the light always returns. We can kindle it in our homes, our lessons, and our hearts. May you gently find your way and know that I am by your side. Thanks for tuning in today. You can find the show notes for this episode at artofhomeschooling.com/episode 214. That's all for today, my friend. But here's what I want you to remember. Rather than perfection, let's focus on connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Art of Homeschooling podcast.